There's going to be a dozen figures approximately. So the goal is to have it all automated so someone can just hit a big green button and the whole show goes. Music and animatronics and lights and curtains, so everything will just happen.
And applause?
And well, the applause is up to the audience.
Nice.
So we'll have to do a good job with the story, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So,
What's this one for?
That's something
Oh,
that-
okay, so there's 4.
There's 5 motors.
5. Where's the... We got...
All right, so you got a twist.
Okay.
You got the one there. Then you got the X and the Y, and then the jaw is 2 buttons, just because we only have a couple of ways to, sliders, whatever, X, Y coordinates.
What kind of motors are you using?
They're servo motors.
Nice. Yeah, for some of the bigger animals, do you know what type of motors you're going to use?
We're looking at an automotive motor. It's it's a power window motor.
For movies or like at Disney for their big animatronic stuff, you have to sculpt it, and out of these polyurethane blocks, which are really expensive.
Okay.
So 6 by 2 by 4 feet costs like $1,000, and so you make it. Then the fiberglass mold is probably the best way to go. They're not so expensive. Probably. See, I've never done such large things and so many of them, so I'm not really sure how much it would cost for all.
Right.
But so you buy things in bulk, and I know you could probably a couple $100s you could get enough for molds for a couple. And then so you have it, and you have to fit the mechanics inside of it. So you have to be careful when you're making it that you make it the right size. And depending on where your movement is, you can you cast a fiberglass. You cast the fiberglass model, and then you can cut it. So you actually have like rings of the form, and those are attached to your mechanics, so they can kind of move. Like
Neat.
that. So,
Yeah.
And then on top of that, then you put the skin, which you can. There's, I know of one really good place to get different animal fur, and it's on a 4-ply stretchy material so that it can move 4 different directions, and then can snap them on, or so that covers all of your framework. And then there's different types you can get, and there's different ways of putting in hair too. You can punch hair in, or so that's for like the rigid stuff with the body, and then areas around the face where you'd want to have more detail. There's different silicones you can use that give it more detail, and it's going to be so like that out of the head of this guy, it's not really going to be moving. So I would want to have a mold of the head probably, and then sculpt on top of that.
Oh.
And then get then cast over that, put the head back in as a core, and then
Pretty neat.
because you have to have a core so that all the mechanics can fit inside.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be one way to do it. I think the most expensive part is actually like the sculpture itself, because the fiberglass isn't that expensive. The fur is a bit expensive, but you can also go cheaper furs, or but there's other ways of getting around doing the body where you could you could buy a plastic horse. There's tons of them for a couple $100, and just cut it up and cover that with the fur and blend that with the sculpted parts, like the silicone head, and so you wouldn't really even notice it as being
So are you saying you would buy like an animal?
That's one way you could do it.
Parts that don't move.
Right, the parts even that do move. So then you could cut it. If it needs to move, like at the neck, you could cut it, and then and attach those rings to your mechanic. So
well, that's sort of how I think
moving.
this was done. I think he actually bought a head and sort of cut the mouth out. That's what it looks like to me. I'm not certain. But Tom, weren't you mentioning that you thought that head was all one piece at one time?
I thought so, but when I was talking to him about the stork, we were talking about the beak, and I was worried about the weight and the nod and
Right.
that specific servo humming. And he says what he'll probably do is buy the beak, but then he'll cast it and just, put a fiberglass shell or something out there. So that part will actually be lightweight, even though it's out a ways.
Right.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So he does more than what I thought he did.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he's pretty creative too. We're talking about a guy that helps with the mechanics. He actually builds he built that.
Nice.
He's part of our team, but he's in Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's really neat.
Yeah, it's a good thing to keep the weight down. So actually, another idea I had with it sounds a little amateur, but I've actually seen people get very precise with it, just using cardboard and super glue and making a basic shape, and then building off of that as a paper mache and using the spackling and sculpting that. You can actually get very refined, like realistic form, and it's very strong and lightweight and so cheap. And so that could be the inside form that you cover with fur as well.
We like all three of those.
Yeah. I don't know. So the first one is very expensive. The last one is probably like the cheapest.
As long as it'll get us where we're going. We want it to look good.
Yeah.
Just to let you know what we're doing, we're basically a group of volunteers. So this is kind of like a labor of love kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We've done this before. I'll take you through a little slideshow of the other show that we did. And, we put together pretty good things that audiences love. But we do them for, nothing, really. Because, we love what we do. We love the message we're putting out there. And it's fun. It's fun. It's sort of like what we do, what we like doing. It's our hobby. So, for example, we were looking to get him a call. Remember the one I showed you? I think it was Animal Makers.
Mm-hmm.
He was basically quoted a great price sale if you buy it now was like $18,000.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to build all the mechanics here just for a few $100s.
Yeah.
So
a lot cheaper.
yeah, a little bit of knowledge can take you a long way. So that's kind of where we are. We do not want to sacrifice quality. So in fact, that one that was quoted, I think that had 4 degrees of freedom. That one, this has 5. So our idea is not, let's scale it back. No, our idea is we can do it better.
Basically, the neck ends here and the body is coming out, is how he designed it. But he patterned this after the $18,000 bird. That included full skinning and electronics.
And electronics, yeah.
And control
And
software.
control?
I think I saw that bird on the Animal Makers.
Oh yeah, I think you did send that link over. Yeah, that's the exact one.
We're able to do the electronics and the software control. That's within our skill set. And Jonathan Square can certainly do the mechanics. And if we need to make some tweaks, we can do that. Mm-hmm. And we're looking for someone that can do the skinning.
I could definitely do the skinning on it. Yeah, I could definitely do that. I think like the head and the feet could be either there's EcoFlex or Dragon Scan, different types of silicone. You can tint it so it looks very realistic. And then there's some things I haven't done, like I've never done the fur part or the hair feathers. So I'd have to think about that. But it doesn't seem too challenging.
Neat. That's good. I like the confidence.
Yeah.
This is the same power supply that powers the motion platform Rose.
On the 4D movie? Or?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. It's a horsed up PC power supply, so it is horsed up, but it's the guts, and I prefer to use the same parts over and over as long as they meet the needs. So even though this is a little more power, this is a lot more power than we need for Mac. It's still the right thing to do in my opinion. That way we have just component swap out.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jonathan Square built Mac from here up, and the rest is just some stuff we threw together to make it semi-portable.
I'm Rob.
Hi, Rob.
I'm sort of a IT and electronics jack of all trades, master of none. So
Rowan's in it.
Yeah, really.
I helped do, like for Miracle, we had a lot of animation, so I helped build the render farm because we actually had someone in Romania doing the actual animation design, and we did all the final rendering here.
Yeah.
So we did that, and I also helped do the 3D conversion. We've had a few iterations of Miracle. This is our 3rd year, right?
Yeah.
2011 was our 3rd Christmas that we presented it. So the first year it was in 2D. The second year it was in 3D, but with anaglyph glasses, the really cheesy blue and cyan ones from the 50s.
Right.
And then last year we did, you might have noticed there were 2 projectors. We did an actual polarized system. So the quality was right up there with what you might see in a theater. You know, not IMAX, but definitely I think we're up there with, you know,
Real D or something.
with Real D, exactly. So I helped design that system and do some of the conversion, and not just conversion, but you know, just you have to do composition for you know producing 3D. So I've worked on audio too. I did the 5.1 mix down for Miracle. And, you know, we designed the sound system and everything.
Wow, I don't know anything about that.
We did like 2 or 3 all-nighters in a row. It was insane.
nuts. That was
But
the
we
first
got
year
it.
before you opened.
Yeah, that was the first year. So that was even when it was back in 2D, and you know, we didn't have the motion seats. We just had what are called bass shakers, which we still have in our system. So we have a totally independent shaker track that vibrates the seats.
Wow.
So it's really, even the first year, people were really impressed with it. But it's kind of, we're trying to build on it every year. So,
That's really cool.
and like Steve said, I worked the joystick for this past year's presentation. Before that, it was a touch screen, which was really, you know,
A
hard
touch
to-
screen for animating?
for moving the seats.
Oh, for moving seats, right. Okay.
Yeah. So I've been the projectionist all throughout.
I thought you were the engineer.
Both. Like I said, jack of all trades, right? And often, you know, I'll run around and fix problems with the sound systems and stuff like that during the presentations too. So for this, I pretty much have just contributed ideas. I've been, you know, Tom's done all
Great
the work
ideas.
here.
Great idea.
And I can also take credit for introducing Dave Stacker. I went to high school with him, so he's just a genius. He works over at Autocrafting. Oh yeah, and I forgot to say, I work at Fujifilm, so I can make stuff like these prints.
Oh,
Because
okay.
we have wet lab printers that, you know, like the same printers you'd find in a Walmart or Sam's Club 1 hour photo department. We basically do the software for those.
Oh, okay.
Anything I missed, Steve?
Probably.
Don't you play an instrument?
Yeah, I play the drums on the worship team, and I play, I have turntables too, so I do scratching, and you know, not for,
Not for the worship team.
well, not typically, I have done it
Not
once or
yet.
twice. We have like a 3-on-3 basketball tournament, and I've played hip hop for that and stuff like that, so.
Nice.
So neat, thanks guys. All right. Yeah, but these
Yeah,
guys
indeed.
have they've logged literally thousands of hours. Yeah, and we'll get to Rochelle. Logged thousands of hours on the show, and without them, I think, you know, making the movie it made me realize, you know, why it costs millions of dollars to make a movie.
Yeah,
You know.
it always costs more than I think it's gonna cost.
It does.
Optimism bias that you have to.
But these guys have given
Budget
themselves,
less.
you know, for 2 or 3 years, and that probably would have cost millions, you know, if we had to pay a firm to do that. I have no doubt about it. So, a labor of love all the way across. You know, these 2 guys are right up there at the top. But there's a lot of contributors that made the movie possible and the motion platform, the whole experience possible. So, awesome. Okay, so thanks guys. Thanks for sharing. The organizer here. I just sort of wrangled all the talent and put it together and make it happen and try
Are
to
you
find a
the-
way to pay
the
for it.
producer, or?
I guess you
Yes.
could say.
Yeah.
I'm the one that
Yes.
pays for, tries to find ways, solutions to pay for everything, so I guess that should be the producer. So yeah. Historically, what I've done is I make films. That's, you know, that's what I do. So this will be the first project I've worked on that doesn't have a film element to it at all, which I kind of like. So yeah.
Except for the meetings.
Except for the meetings, yeah. We film everything. We put it on YouTube. I think we had like around 80 making of movies for our last project,
Oh, wow.
and they just got hit to death. I think combined we have 120,000 views, something like that. So people really love the process, and animatronics is a great keyword. So people are going to hit that even more, I think.
But you are gonna film it, right? You're gonna film the play as it's going.
Yeah, I mean we'll record it. One of our things is, you know, you got to come here to see it. You know, we like that exclusive kind of feel.
Right.
You know, we think you know, theme parks sort of do that. We can sell videos of the experience too, but you know, we'll see where we're going to take that. Our last show, we have a theme park, a legit theme park that's looking to buy it. We're still in talks with them. It's going on forever. So we have opportunities. Our studio also does other shows. Like we have a TV show now that was talking about national like a satellite kind of situation where we're going to be broadcast. So you know, we're doing some exciting things, and we have some channels out there. But for this, we kind of want it to be exclusive. You know, you want to see it, you got to come, and people do. People come from out of state to see our shows.
I'm sure Sure, it's very. People always get very excited about robotics or animatronics.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I do too. So that I don't know why, but it's exciting, and it makes it really come to life. That it looks real and it's moving realistically, and it's a good story. It's